Sup, boys? So in a everlasting quest to find something else to do in Genshin, I figured today we would take a look at just kind of like a recap of my account. I've basically been playing this account since launch day and just kind of go over money that I've spent, not necessarily exactly what I've spent it on because I honestly don't remember, but money spent and pretty much just everything that I have. So really quickly, just to kind of show what exactly this account has on it. So you can see here, days active is 184. As of the day that I'm recording this, this is 100%. That means I've played every single day up until this day. By the time you guys see this video, that'll be a couple of days old. But anyways, 201 achievements unlocked. I have all the animoculi, all the geoculi. I have 25 characters, 83 waypoints, which is all of them, 26 domains, which is all of them, 11.2, I don't know why it says that. I've beat 11.3, 67 luxurious chests, 193 precious, 742 exquisite, and 765 common chests. Holy cow, that's a lot of chests. As you can see here, we do have AR-55. I am just over halfway to AR-56. This is taking forever. I hit AR-55 what feels like 2 months ago. I don't know how long it's actually been, but it feels like forever, and it is a very slow crawl. Now, as far as the amount of money that I have actually spent on this game, I went back through and looked at my bank statements since this game has came out, and I have total spent $280 in this game. Now, I can't tell you exactly what I spent all of that on because I bought the Welkin, what's it called? Yeah, the Welkin Moon. I bought this. I've basically had this going, I think, since launch. I may have waited like a week or so before I actually bought this, but I've pretty much had this going since launch, roughly. And I have purchased at least one of every bundle except for the two cheapest ones for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I have purchased at least one of each of these, and I've purchased multiple of the $30 one, and I've purchased, I think, a couple of the 3280s, which is the $50 one, and then I've only purchased one of the highest tier there. So the reason that I actually purchased all of this is because I actually buy this almost every single week. It's basically because I took a different route with the account than most people would recommend you take, and I bought this for the hero wits simply because I needed them, and the Mora is amazing as well. I used to also buy this one as well just because it also came with a ton of adventures experience, but I don't buy that one anymore since I already have all of my characters built up to the point where I don't necessarily need to spend 300 Genesis crystals every single week. I can already hear you. You're screaming, "Oh my god, blah blah blah, you spent money on this game. It's a free-to-play game, blah blah blah." I spend my money on what makes me happy, and I hope you do the same. Don't judge me for it. So anyways, let's look at oh wow. Yeah, let's look at it this way. Okay, so in terms of the characters that I have, I am actually only missing 5. I'm missing Albedo, Keqing, Mona, Klee, and Chi-Chi. I see so many memes about people getting Chi-Chi like to C3 and C4 because they keep getting her on their 50/50s. Sorry, I really can't relate. Mona as well. Some people get like C2, C3 Mona. Sorry, can't relate. Keqing's, I don't know, dude. It's weird. I've wanted these characters since release, and I just still can't get them. Obviously, Klee and Albedo were exclusives. I actually got Diluc in the Albedo banner, and I think I got Jean on the Klee banner. I think that's where my first Jean came from. It's been a long time since Klee's been out, but I specifically remember getting Diluc on the Albedo banner. So I guess instead of going through literally every single character and just showing you like whatever is currently on them, I can kind of like highlight a few things. Because I don't have those five stars that we've already mentioned, I will kind of talk about like the characters that I use the most. You'll notice that I do have a lot of characters at 69. Everything that's level 70 was actually at level 69. It just got leveled up by accident. Hu Tao, Child, and Ganyu are pretty much like my 3 main DPSs that I use. I use those pretty heavily. I don't use Jean a whole lot anymore because she was a healer that I had built up back in the day. I don't really use her that often anymore. I probably should. I should actually probably go through and make sure that she's set up correctly and start using her because she's good. I use Venti quite often. I ascended him 70 out of 80. I got him to A5, and then I was like, I'll just level him up later. And then all of this EXP right here is just from playing. And you guys know it takes a long time to get EXP from monsters. Yeah, that's all from monsters right there. Jangling and Fischl I used a ton early on, and that's kind of why they're so high level. Outside of kind of like this first row and this first part of the second row, that's pretty much like the main cast that I use all the time. Chongyun, I just recently got him to level 79 because I was going to work on a video for him, just because I like Chongyun and he's cool. Noelle, I actually like, because you get a free copy of her from the beginner banner. I was like, well, you know, might as well put a little bit of resources into her. I didn't really heavily invest into her, but I recently did a video about using her as a DPS and like how to structure a team around her if she is your DPS, and that's kind of why she's powered up a little bit. Barbara, I powered her up because she was the second healer that I had with Jean, so she was the second healer for my second team. Bennett, not really. I haven't had him very long. I just got him. I think it was Albedo's banner. I can't quite remember, but I haven't had him for very long. And I mean, he's Bennett. He's amazing. Oh, he's C3 right now. Okay, yeah. So he's only C3. When I got him, I really like got a couple of copies of him, so that was really cool. Zhao, you know, cool. Diluc, I got him instead of Albedo, which I guess was fine. He's the reason whenever I got Hu Tao, I made sure to get Staphahoma for Hu Tao. I was okay with either getting Staphahoma or Wolf's Gravestone because I could use Wolf's Gravestone on Diluc or really anybody, but I could use either weapon and I would have been just fine. But either way, I got Diluc instead of Albedo, which is okay. Ningguang, level 69 out of 70 because she is pretty ball in DPS. I really like her. Kaya, you know, Kaya is one of those characters that I still would recommend him being one of the cheapest builds that you can get. Like, if you build a physical Kaya and surround him with like a permafreeze setup with him and Barbara and, you know, whoever else you want to put on the team, like, it's so good. And I made a video about that, and that's kind of why he's powered up. Razor, he's a really good main DPS. I've used him in several videos. That's why he's powered up. And then all of the level 60s are basically, I got them to level 60 because that was like my minimum to be able to use them. And then I pretty much made videos about them, but I haven't really done a lot with them since then, or I feel like I don't need to invest more in them because I don't use them for their level. I don't use them for reactions or like anything like that. I just use them as pure supports or energy generation or stuff like that. So yeah, that's a lot of characters. Now, as far as the weapons, I do have quite a bit of weapons, but I don't use like 90% of them, of course. The main ones that I would like really call out, I did get Staphahoma, luckily, even though I was, you know, not upset with getting Wolf's Gravestone. Everybody said, holy cow, that's pretty lucky you still ended up getting Staphahoma. Yeah, I got Staphahoma. I'm pretty happy about it. It's amazing on Hu Tao. I do have a Skyward Pride that I leveled up, and I use it to kind of like toss around on all the Claymore users. And I did try to go for Elegy of the Wind and ended up getting another Skyward Pride. So yeah, slowly working on leveling this one up just because of a certain character that may be coming in 1.5 I can't really speak on. I do have a fully maxed out Veridescent Hunt for my child. I am kind of on the back burner working on Rust to kind of have a little bit more flexibility with child, whether I want to use him for like multi like target setups for like mobs and stuff versus like one big single boss. You know, he kind of does better with something other than Veridescent Hunt, so that's kind of why that's there. Ganyu does have a fully maxed out Prototype Crescent. If I could ever get a 5-star bow, that'd be good. I do have a level 80 compound bow, which, like I said, was on Fischl. I don't really use any of my bow characters as physical DPSs anymore, so this just kind of sits here. I kind of like contemplate sometimes putting this back with Fischl just to kind of have an extra DPS, but I really don't need the extra DPS. I really have been trying to focus on building up my supports lately, so it's not really worth it. I do have a Prototype Rancor, which is nice. It really just goes on Bennett because it has the most base attack out of any other sword that I have right now. So that just kind of helps him boost the attack of his ult. We do have a rank 2 Rust, which I have slowly started to invest in. We have a Stringless, we have a Favonius Warbow. Venti sometimes just uses kind of whatever Official's not using. So if Official's using Stringless, he'll use Favonius Warbow, but they're pretty interchangeable between the two. It just really depends on like who I feel like needs more energy recharge, and the amount of energy recharge that it gives makes this Venti pretty overkill in terms of his energy recharge, but it's just there because it's there. I do have a prototype Amber leveled up because I was using Barber at one point, and I had Barber like with a ton of HP, and I don't know, I was just using that. I do have a Widsith, which is really nice. I use that for just dumb catalyst stuff. I made a DPS Barber thing not too long ago, so that was kind of cool. We do have a deathmatch, which is good. I do have all of the battle pass weapons. I have bought the battle pass every single time thus far, so I just actually got the Serpent Spine this most recent go around. I don't know where it's at. Yeah, I just recently got the Serpent Spine, so I haven't messed with it yet though. We do have the Crescent Pike, which I did use on Zhang, and I do have the Black Sword, which I pretty much just interchange it on whoever needs to have some extra crit rate. I do have an Eye of Perception, which was the first 4-star weapon that I ever got, and I was super happy about it, and I gave it to Ningguang, I think. I don't know. It was just the first 4-star weapon I ever got. We do have Solar Pearl, which I use on whoever needs extra crit rate. I do have Light Blind because I did want to build my Noelle. I felt like this was the best option that I had at the time, so I ended up getting a rank 2 of that, and I don't have a prototype Amethyst. You may notice that. That's just because I have yet to get a prototype to make one until I actually, in this most recent round of bosses that I did literally yesterday, I got one. I just haven't crafted it yet. I do have Sacrificial Greatsword. I typically use this on Chongyun for his support, like his sub DPS role. This was kind of using some different stuff, but yeah, it's a really good weapon. Fast Rings are, of course, everybody got that if they played during. I'm assuming you're also allowed to still get that. I don't even know. I got that from 1.2 event. Sacrificial Sword. I wish I could pull more of these. I would really like to increase this percentage chance. That'd be great. I do have a Favonius Sword. This is getting into like the stuff that I just throw on people because I don't really have anything else. Like Favonius Greatsword, I just use it for whoever. Like Zhao has a Favonius Lance right now just because he's got a Favonius Lance. A lot of these weapons haven't even powered up yet. I really have like specific weapons that I try to stick on people. For whatever reason, I do have a rank 5 level 80 Fillet Blade. Yeah, I don't know. And that's pretty much it. As far as artifacts, this is going to be extremely hard to like kind of show off. I typically, if you see it in this list, if it's locked, that pretty much means that I have deemed it savable for whatever reason. Some of the artifacts that I have, like this one, this is just a really old artifact that I plus 20'd because I needed extra animo damage at the time. This needs to be replaced. I just haven't replaced it yet. Some of these things, like the way that I do it is I look for the main stat, of course, first, and then I used to just do main stats. Like, oh, if it had animo damage here, then I was powering it up. So that's kind of why some of the substats are trash. Then I got to the point where I was like, all right, main stat plus 1 good substat. So I would end up having like energy recharge. It deemed this investable. Then most recently, I've switched over to where it needs to have 2 good substats before I invest in it, and I still get, you know, trash. You can see that defense there, but some of the artifacts are really old. I just have them powered up, and they've been powered up for a long time. I don't really have any like notable, like amazing ones, I don't think. I mean, some of them are pretty good. That's a pretty good one. It's good for crit rate. Crit damage could, you know, use a little bit more. Yeah, you see this one literally just has crit rate. You know, some of the stuff is not very great, but it definitely works. So most of the time I just shoot for plus 16s on my 5 stars. You'll see I have majority of them at plus 16. Some of them are plus 20 because at one point I was plus 20ing everything, and it just got to be such a drag with how much like material it took to get there. So I stopped doing that. But yeah, most everybody has like a working set of something. You'll see some of these new ones that I have locked. You know, they have 2 substats there. This has 2 good substats. This has 2 good substats. These aren't locked because they only have 1 good substat. Or that one's decent. We'll lock that. But you know, they typically need 2 good substats. I still have a ton of 4-star artifacts that I still use. They're still completely fine and usable. Some, I think I actually have. There's a 4-star. This one, I like this. You'll see that I do have quite a few EXP materials because, like I said, I used to buy those pretty heavily. I don't think I really. There's not really anything to show off in this section. I mean, I have plenty of boss materials because I usually don't invest past a 4 until recently, so I have quite a few of these. I have used quite a few recently, but I still have a lot of these. Boring. Yeah, you can see I just got a sword today, which was really cool. I've had this polearm since the 1.2 event. I actually saved the polearm because I had one already and ended up just saving this one for a long time. I just got the claymore yesterday, so pretty gnarly. That's pretty good. None of that's really important. None of this stuff is really important. None of that stuff's important. And yeah, none of this stuff's really important. Cool. I do have 341 Zhao lanterns though. That's pretty good. And I saved these for whatever reason. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I feel like this account has more. It's worth more than $280 to me. I'm glad that I have what I have for only $280. I know some of you guys are going to be like, oh my god, I wouldn't have spent a dime on this game. That's fine, man. You spend your money on what you want to spend it on. I'm going to do the same. I love the account that I have. I'm really happy with this account. I do wish that I had, you know, some other characters and stuff, but hey, man, it's all in fun. You know, I'm gonna check this really quick, and just because I'm getting that little itch, I kind of want to do this. All right, so you can see that's 3 full pages. So that's 36, 37, 38. So we're nowhere near pity, but we're gonna do this, man, because it's fun. Let's early. Nah, it's just a 4-star. That's all right, man. All right, boys, that's gonna be it, man. That's another visual. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your 1.4 stuff. I'm super excited to talk about a ton of stuff for 1.5. Unfortunately, I cannot do that right now because I will get in trouble, but just know I have been keeping up with everything that's coming out, and it's going to be super good. I'm super excited for it. I'm glad that 1.4 is kind of like slow right now because it's giving me a chance to write a D&D campaign, and I'm having a lot of fun doing that, and I couldn't do that and make a ton of content at the same time, so pretty good. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling. See you guys.